Hi girls, how are you? Welcome to your class for today about breaking the silence. Now this is going to be a little bit of a interesting yet a bit of a heavy topic because we're going to continue from topic about violence. Now let's read together our first question for today's topic. A woman is experiencing violence in her family and is not able to tell anyone about her experiences. Think about what different situations she will have to face to protect herself from the violence. So get a paper and a pen and write down. So our first scenario is a woman who's experiencing violence in her family and she's not able to tell anybody or ask for help. This is something that she cannot do. So what are some of the options or strategies or ways that she can deal with this violence without asking for external support or external help? So write down your answers. Now, scenario number 2. A woman is experiencing violence in her family and is able to reach out to others for help and support. What are the doubts and concerns she may have in reaching out for help, and what challenges might she face? So the second scenario is still a woman who's experiencing violence in her family, yet she is able to ask for help. She can call a friend or a family and ask for their help, ask for their support. But in this scenario, in this case, what do you think are some of the problems or challenges that she might face while she's trying to do that? So if I'm someone who's experiencing violence in my family and I ask my friend for help or another family member, what are some of the challenges that might be an issue for me? So, how would a person provide support? This is your third question. How would a person provide support without making the situation more difficult for the women experiencing that violence? So, let's talk about this briefly. So, imagine you have a friend who calls you on the phone and asks you, please help me. For example, my brother is hitting me constantly and abusing me, and I don't know what to do. What would you do as a friend to help her, but also to make sure that you don't make that problem worse for her? Because what if her brother knows that she actually called you for help and he gets mad? So what would you do to help your friend? And that is exactly the question here. How could people provide support without making the situation harder for the people experiencing that violence? Now, when women and girls are in such a violent situation, do they usually reach out for help? Do you realize, if you know any stories or from reading or your opinion, do you really think that women do ask for help when they are experiencing violence from whoever? It can be violence from females, from a mother, a father, a husband, a brother, a sister. There's so many forms of violence, and violence comes in both physical and verbal abuse. So, do women usually ask for help? Now, why do you think at times we do not want to speak about the violence in our lives? So, why is it that sometimes young women or adult women or any type of women, they don't really want to share or talk about the violence that they've experienced in their life? What do you think is the reason? Are they embarrassed? Are they scared? Is it shame? What could it be? What are the possible reasons that stops them from asking for help and for support? Why would someone remain in an abusive relationship? So what does that mean? Why would, for example, if a woman is married and her husband hits her, abuses her, why would she continue being in that relationship? Why doesn't she, for example, get a divorce? Why does she stay in that relationship? Now, are these reasons different for young women and adult women? So, the question is, let's take 2 examples. A young woman is married, an adult woman is married. That very young woman, her husband is hitting her, and that very adult woman, her husband is hitting her. Do you think that their reasons would be different? That they would not share or ask for help for different reasons? Does age make a difference? And also, what is the link between abuse and economic dependence? So again, let's go back to the example of the husband who's hitting his wife. Maybe that wife is staying with the husband because she's financially dependent on him. Maybe she doesn't have an income, she doesn't work, she relies financially on him. So he makes the money, he goes to work, and he spends on her. So maybe, do you think that there is a relationship between abuse and economic or financial dependence? So if I depend on someone financially, is there a link? Are people who are more financially dependent more prone to abuse or to stay in this abusive relationships? Do you think men who experience violence are also affected by the same culture of silence? Do you think men who experience violence also stay quiet in our cultures? Do they face similar circumstances in reaching out for help? If yes, why? And if no, why not? So when men ask for help or support when they're experiencing violence in their home, do you think they face the same challenges and situations and circumstances that other women do? If yes, tell me why. And no, if you think men, it's not the same for men and women, it's a completely different story, also tell me why not. So, how would you get to know if a friend or someone you know is suffering from violence? So, have you ever been in this situation? Did you ever realize or find out that you or a friend has violence in their family? How would you know? This is the end of our session, and I hope you've written down all your answers. And I know this is somewhat a very heavy and challenging topic, but let's all write down our answers and share in our live sessions. Take care.